new year. It's JJ Jones, your broker, and we are so excited to be rolling out this whole gold standard of education for 2021. This is the year of 21 and 21, 2 listings, 1 sale, or 2 sales and 1 listing every single month. That's going to be our goal to hit the gold standard. We finished the year at number 10 position in the Realtor Association of the World Palm Coast. So we are so excited and pleased that you're part of it. We want to give you great tools and strategies to make us number 2. We won't go for number 1. We'll go for number 2 this year, right? As it's 21. So without further ado, I want to bring in Steve Vena, who is our marketing guru, and he's going to talk about building your brand. You all know I built my brand on the hat, and it works. So let's see about how you can take up your business 2, 3, 4 notches this year in 2021. So Steve, take it away.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? It is January. This is the beginning of 2021, and as Gigi mentioned, we really want to make this a great year. And definitely you want to make this a great year for your business as well. So in doing that, creating a brand is a really important part of setting yourself apart from your competition. So this talk is going to be about creating your personal brand, why it's important for your business and longevity, and how to get started. So let's start with the harsh reality. The harsh reality is that there are 195,000 Florida realtors. That's a lot. And with that, you understand, there's competition everywhere. Everybody has a friend or a neighbor or a cousin who might be in the business here. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a thriving business as well. So with that, there are real questions that every prospect is thinking. They are who you are, what do you do, and why should I work with you? Those are key things that you need to remind people, whether they're your friends, whether they're your family. And if you can do those things effectively through your personal brand, that will help to bring you greater business going forward. So, rising above the competition by creating your personal brand. What does that do for you? It makes you a standout resource. It helps you attract the right customers and make referrals easier. Having a brand, it really helps other people helps other people refer you easier because there's got to be something for them to actually refer to. Just to say that you're a realtor and your friend's a realtor or your cousin's a realtor, that is not enough for them to want to necessarily do business with you. So you're going to need a little bit more than that. And that's where a personal brand comes into play. So the question is, why does branding work? Now, that's one of the important things to think about, actually. When you talk about branding, everybody talks about it and you want to have it. People say you could do it like we do. But why does branding work? Well, culture has trained our thinking to see brands as the definition of quality and service. We all know all sorts of retail brands and other types of products and services. We know them by their name. But brands are not just a logo. They're a universe of expectations and trust for their customers. So when you feeling of what you're going to be getting from them, and it goes beyond just the product or service. And that's where branding comes into play, and that's what you can do for your business, which will really help you get more business and continue for a long period of time. So I like to put this out to you. This is kind of a simple explanation of it, but it's one that works. So you can kind of put yourself in the mindset of what is a brand and how you can brand yourself. So think of coffee. You like coffee, maybe you don't, but if you do like coffee, who doesn't? Who doesn't, right? At the same time, there's all types of coffee. You can go to 7-Eleven for a coffee. You can go to Starbucks for a coffee. You might like 7-Eleven as a cup of coffee. It might be your guilty pleasure. You might think it's okay. But if you had a friend or a relative who's asking, hey, where can I go for a great cup of coffee? More than likely, you're not going to tell them to go to 7-Eleven. One, it might reveal that you might be cheap, which is not something you really want to do. But even though it's a great cup of coffee, you might not want to tell people all that. So you're going to refer them to Starbucks. And so Starbucks, you're going to refer to them because of their brand. So now the question is, why does Starbucks win? So, if you're gonna refer people to Starbucks, you have to think about it. It goes the same for realtors. You might have a few different realtors, but why are you gonna refer one versus another? And the same thing goes with Starbucks. Why are you gonna go to Starbucks versus 7-Eleven? And Breweries is, that they are experts in what they do. They offer a full experience that's aligned to their product, and it gives you a high level of confidence to make this recommendation. Because when people are gonna, if you refer somebody to Starbucks, when they go in, they're gonna get service. They know there's gonna be great coffee smells, maybe there's a lot of variety. They're gonna get that better level of service than they would off of 7-Eleven. So that's why Starbucks wins, but Starbucks wins because of their brand and their exposure. So when you refer it, it actually is a good reflection back on you that you referred it to a good provider. And I should also mention, as we all know, that we're in the referral business. So referrals really matter. So you have to have this aspect as part of your business. So Starbucksizing yourself. You have to recognize that you are a brand. And how do you go about creating that personal brand? First, you have to think about who do you want to become, and you have to be that person. That should also be authentic to your qualities and values as well. It shouldn't be something that's not you. It should be something that's just very natural to who you are. And you need to project those values onto all the different touch points that you have in your business. So touch points are a very interesting thing, but that's actually where we're going to get into the details as far as how to go about creating your personal brand. And these are the things that you need to think about as you put your branding program together.
Real quick question,
Yeah.
because you've built your brand really, really, really strong. Maybe you could give a little example on where you're going to take them.
Yes, actually I do. I have that for that. Yes, I will answer that. Absolutely, I do have examples for that. But this is something that I put together for myself, but this is actually just a big overview of where branding can take you, and these are the things you need to think about. You have different level of touch points, and each one of these different touch points, touch point is where a customer or a friend or anybody can come into contact with you or who you are or your business. So I have them in 3 different levels. This is level 1. This is a level where someone may encounter you, but you are not there. This is just someone who recommends you or something like that. So where is someone going to find your business? There's social media, there's through referrals, there's maybe your website, and also in person. So in social media, people are discovering people all day long. You're putting your posts out, you're doing your marketing in that respect, but they're going to see it from your posts. So what about your post reinforces you as a realtor and what you can offer? So do your posts include pictures of houses that you've done? Is it maybe just doing, hey, I've listed this or I've sold that? That's successful for some people. Or is it more environmental? For me, that's one thing that I like to show is more like the experience of the area. So if there's an area you focus in, maybe you show what it's like to live in that area. Because a lot of times, if you're posting on social media, people may not be in the area, but they may be looking to move into the area. So anything you could do to kind of give that as an impression of what it's like will reinforce that you are a person who lives in that area or works in that area and knows the area. So again, those are a touch point that is marketing that is part of your brand. So how you do it also should relate to how people can find you and know you. The same thing goes with videos, the same thing. If you're videotaping yourself, or you're doing things about the area, or if you're doing house tours, make sure whatever you put in there is something so someone can contact you, or there's some nugget that's in there that tells them, again, who you are and what you do. Referrals. Referrals happen all the time. So if someone's referring you, they might be just handing a business card off to somebody. Or it might be an email lead where someone has an email from somebody and they're going to say, hey, you know what, you helped Sally this, and I'd really like you to help me with my home. How is that communication working, or what are you putting in your emails when you respond to that in order for people to then reinforce and understand that you are a realtor and this is what you offer? So you can't always, do your sales pitch, but it's more of like a soft sales pitch where it's kind of in there, but it's more passive where people can find the information, and when they get it, they're reinforced like, oh yeah, this is someone I should be working with. Website, you've got search or digital ads, the same thing. What is the first thing that people are going to see when they discover you? What is the information when they Google your name? What comes up? Those are the things that you need to look at, because that's what people are going to do. They're going to do their due diligence. They're just going to do a Google search. And do you come up as a realtor or do you come up as a chef? So those are the two things you need to kind of put together.
I do like to post pictures of my coffee in the morning, so.
Well, that's fine.
I am a coffee entrepreneur.
That's right. That's fine. They'll know that they can find you at the local Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing. So you've got digital ads too. The same thing. So what is in there that reinforces that? Maybe it's just a little line of text, that I'm your realtor or something, just to kind of bring it back at something that's consistent. Then there's the in-person. It's the open house or the encounter. I mean, do you have something that you could give to somebody just to kind of reinforce who you are, or what else is there? Is it branding? Are you with your shirt? Does it show that you're a realtor? Is there something that's connecting people to all those different areas where they can see you, so they get to know you and feel comfortable with you, so then they can start that relationship? So that's your level 1. Again, there's 3 levels. Level 2 is the next one. You've got texting, telephone, and email. So level 2 is you've already been in contact with somebody. Maybe they already sent something to you. So what is the next thing you do next? So in your texting, your messaging follow-ups, is it just like, oh, hey, yeah, I'd like to meet you, but does it include maybe a picture of your business card? Do you send that back? Does it a picture of yourself, or a picture of yourself in doing real estate? Is there like a nice something that you could just quickly send to somebody that goes along with the message and the introduction? So there's also telephone. So think about your voicemail. So what's your voicemail message say? Does it have something to do with real estate, or is it just like, hey, if I'm not here, I'm at the bar, and
Or the
maybe a message.
automated. That
Exactly.
drives me crazy when I call a realtor and it's the automated.
Yes.
You've reached 239-415.
Yeah, the default messaging, you could do better. Then the same thing. I mean, I know JJ mentioned this before, that they're going to know who you are sooner or later. So you might as well put yourself out there and actually record your own voice. And then boilerplate messaging. So is it also something not just, hi, this is Steve, leave a message. It's, hi, this is Steve. If you have questions about real estate, I'd be happy to address them. Please leave a message. If there's an address in particular, leave that too. I'd be happy to respond within 24 hours. Something like that. Is there something you could put into there that reinforces a little bit more like, yes, I'm here, I'm going to help you, and have faith in what I can do for you. Email, signature links. That's something very simple to do. So you just have something in your email every time you hit reply, and it has something that is either links to your social, links to your website. Again, maybe a picture of you would be nice. Any other designations that you've earned as a realtor, those types of things would be really good. Because again, it's just a reinforcer. And you have to understand that once you go through any of these things, all of these things can be forwarded to one of their friends. So maybe somebody could be calling you from somebody else, or maybe you're leaving a message for somebody and they could just easily take that and forward it. So what are you giving to them that they could forward, and then that has a good reflection back on you? So think of it that you're not just emailing one person, you're going to be emailing an audience at that point. So keep that in mind of what you could put in. And then level 3, the next one is presentations and transactions. The presentations themselves, the marketing materials that you have. What can you put together to include all that information? So when people see you from the first point of contact all through your presentation, it's consistent. So then they understand that this is who you are and you're still the same person that they met in the beginning. So then there's an expectation of service. Again, it's the same thing like Starbucks. When you go from the beginning to the end, you're going to get everything that Starbucks delivers. And so when you leave, you still feel like you got it from Starbucks. They didn't get you in there by really great coffee and then give you a styrofoam cup on the way out. So that's the same thing what you got to do here. You got to have the same level of service from start to finish. And that same goes for communications. Is, how you leave messages, how you're doing your texting, things like that. We've encountered sometimes where some people don't like using emoticons in texting. Some people get offended by those types of things. So there's a lot of that. I've heard it both ways in my own business too. They're like, oh yeah, we really, my husband really doesn't like emoticons. So those are things to watch. You're like, okay, then you just don't do that. But again, those are things that you can put. Some people can work with that, some people don't, but what you put in your communications matters. Then transactions, you're emailing, you're post-closing gifting. With that, what are those things that you can do in a post-close that's not just a gift card or some little gift? What can you do that actually comes back to you? You have to discover what that is for you, but at the same time, that's an important thing to do. So it's a gift that can maybe become a conversation piece. So when people come to their house and welcome everybody in, they're like, oh yeah, so that's really great. Oh, my realtor gave that to me. Oh, really? Who is it? You know, so those types of things that you could put together versus the bottle of wine that people will forget. Even you after they drink it.
10 years later.
Right. Oh,
2 days later.
yeah, exactly. You know, you can still give the wine, but give the wine and something. So this kind of covers all the different areas that you need to approach in a brand. Now, everybody needs to make it their own. That's the thing. It's not something that is only one way of doing it. It has to be authentic to what you are and what you can do. And you don't have to put a lot of money into it either. I mean, it could be someone, your style is black and white and your style could be black and white. But just be consistent on how you use things going forward. Back to what JJ mentioned before. All right, well, this is branding samples of me. This is what I've chosen to do it. I'm using the color blue. I'm using it in my blue shirts. I'm using it in my business card. I even have it in my car. My YouTube page also shows me, and it's always featuring me in my blue shirt going forward. I do have other color shirts, I do, but actually when I'm going to real estate,
I highly doubt it. I think you've only ever ordered that color.
I've only ordered that color, but in general, I have other colors in my closet. But I don't know why. I mean, blue is not really something that's me. So, I mean, it's generally, I mean, I was red and black, but now that I'm a Florida realtor, I don't want to be red and black. You know, for me, it's like, I like blue because it's the blue water and it, you know, it's just a bright color and it, you know, gives me a chin, gives me a little jawline. When I'm in white, my jaw doesn't show up. But this is kind of a display, a montage anyway, of what a branding program kind of looks like. From the business card, you have a little bit of blue line. I put it on my car as well, so when I'm driving around, I'm doing a lot of work in the villages. So purposefully, I've gotten a small car. Not only is it easy to get around, but at the same time, it's kind of a friendly, it's a little bit bigger than a golf cart, and everybody drives golf carts in the villages. So with that, it's something friendly. So when you pull up, it's not like, oh, this is the realtor that's gonna charge me 6% and take all my equity. So it's more like, oh, you know, it's more friendly and approachable. That's what I wanna have come across. As far as my email signature here, same thing. It's got my face in there. I'm pushing my C2EX endorsement. I'm making sure I have both my websites there, my phone number as well.
And Jones and Co. Yeah.
And Jones and Co. That's important. That has to be there. And also when I do my social posts, the same thing. I'm making sure that I have videos in there. I mix up videos and pictures. Again, but it's all brand. So whenever you're going to Google me or look at me, you're going to kind of know who it is. And when I show up, I look like this too. So there's consistency that goes along. When I send text messages out, I send it with a kind of a little smirky smile, just it's a little bit friendly, but it also has my phone number and my email address and everything there as well. So when people see it, they're like, oh, okay, this is the guy who's texting me. And at the same time, they can even take that and forward that to a friend. So it's something that you got to think about, that it's not just going to one person, you could do more. And then when it comes to gifting, one thing for me, because I've been a graphic designer, is that I actually design some wearables. So I've got pillows that I use, and that's one of my gifts that I give away. So they have a pillow that actually has my logo that I'm doing on it. I also have t-shirts. So if they have a family, I can give somebody a gift certificate to my quote unquote online store and they can go shopping. I've got socks, leggings, you know, all sorts of things on there. So, you know, all different colors. It doesn't have to be white. They can pick the color they like. But at the same time, it's not something like I produced 100 of these shirts. I use a website called Teespring, and you just upload the artwork, and then it's just on demand. So it's not something that you need to make a big investment in or anything like that. You just kind of do the artwork, put it up there, and then let people do it. There's mugs, there's beach bags, beach towels. I've put it all in there. But anything, again, that's related to Southwest Florida and Florida in general. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a a taste of what it looks like. So when someone just looks, oh, this is a consistent look. So no matter wherever you're, thinking about me, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a realtor and this is his business. And so that's what I want to, push out as an image, but this is what branding is. And so that's something that I encourage everybody to do, just to kind of put their whole package together, no matter what their package looks like, just to kind of put it out there. So when people find you and they can refer you, this is what makes it easier for people to notice you and refer you to their friends, which is very important in our business.
I have people asking online, where they can find you.
Okay.
How they find you. Basically, they're looking for your handle name, and then if you want to talk about the importance of, instead of using Steve Vena Realtor and your handle that you use. So,
Okay.
So they want to know where they can find you.
Okay. Well, yes, you can actually find me all over online. So, but the important thing is you could just Google your name. So that's number one. So Googling your name is how other people are going to find you. So if you Google me, more than likely you're going to come up with my Facebook page comes up first, my Instagram page comes up first, my website will come up first, even my LinkedIn page might come up first as well. But when you looked in there, it also shows that I work for Jones & Co. Realty. So when you see that, it kind of puts it together right away. So that's number one. I am kind of branding my site as Escape to the Villages, Escape to Southwest Florida, SWFL. I'm doing that because I'm coming from Illinois, so I'm trying to get a lot of people that are looking to escape and kind of come down. Through the Realtors Association, I do have the stevevena.realtor page as well, but that one actually is an automatic forwarding to my Escape to Southwest Florida. So that's kind of where people can find me online with that. And the other way they find you online is actually through social media. So anybody who I follow, in your profile, there's a link. So in that profile, you have a link and that goes right to your website. So that's one of the main reasons how people will discover you if they don't know who you are. They'll find you on social, they'll go through your profile, make sure your profile says that you're a realtor, and you can tag at Jones & Company so people can actually go back and look at Jones & Company so they know it's a legit company as well. Yeah, it's necessary.
You're real.
Yeah, exactly. Those are things that are very important. So hope that answers the questions there.
Yeah, they were just mainly wanting to pull up your profiles and find your profiles.
Mhm.
So you're getting some followers.
Okay. Awesome. And one other way you can enhance your profiles too online, there's a thing called Linktree. There's another one called, I think it's LinkPaw, things like that, where then in your profile you can set it and then it pulls up a page that has multiple links. So you can do that too. So maybe if you click your profile link, it could come up and it could say, here's view my listings, or contact me, or there's other things that people can do right there. You could go to your YouTube page from there. There's a lot of different things you could go use that for as well to help brand all the different ways and have people find you everywhere. So this is a little bit of that. So now I leave this is pretty much the end, but there's another level which is a little bit more advanced, but I'm putting it in there anyway. So this is advanced brand tactics. Oh, God. Joey from Friends. This is what major brands are doing. They're increasing brand recall by tapping the senses. So you got to consider that how the brain functions. It's not just one dimensionally. So any other thing that you have that can trigger a memory to a situation or a person or a brand is something that you could use to your advantage. Granted, as realtors, you're a little bit more limited. You don't have your own environment to work with, say like Starbucks would have. Like when Starbucks, you go in, you smell the coffee, you see the sites, everything's chocolate brown inside. So all that gives you that feeling of coffee. They have, burlap bags on the wall. So that's the feeling of out in the fields, and it's all sustainable products and things like that. But
like you use blue.
Yeah.
If you had that scent of the sea or something, or suntan lotion,
exactly, yeah.
everywhere you went and you handed out suntan lotion or something, it would just kind of piggyback off of that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, definitely. So for site, it's the use of color, images, textile, and graphics. And so color, images of the ocean and the Gulf, and the textile as well. So make sure you're using consistent font as you're going through. So from your business card to your brochure to your listing, flyers, things like that. Something that's consistent. Sound that goes to voice styles, sound effects. Like everybody knows, the Southwest airline ding, you're free to move around the country, those types of things. So that's, again, that's a sound trigger that triggers a brand. So if anything that you can use for that. Case in point, videos, if you'll see on YouTube, I'm doing my house tours. So I try to make sure that, number one, you choose something that's not annoying, so that people don't get sick of, but at the same time, something that you it comes up, the same goes through on the next. There's environmental, fragrance, food scents, things like that. Touch is, your collateral paper and your business card. Does it match your thank you notes or things like that? Some things that go together that way. And then taste, samples, flavors, think open house cookies. Maybe, you're going to be doing a whole lot of open houses, and maybe, you find which cookie people really like, and maybe that's the cookie you always have. So people have an expectation. They're like, oh yeah, I went to someone else, they always had this type of beverage, or they had this type of cookie or something like that, or they always know that there's something unique maybe about what you offer.
It
So
reminds me of the DoubleTree brand. It's a hotel brand, but everybody knows DoubleTree for their cookies and their front lobby.
yeah,
So it works.
right, yeah, exactly. And then, but that's the trigger, exactly. You're thinking of like, you're not thinking of, oh, it's gonna cost me $150 a night. You're thinking, I get cookies in the lobby when I get there. Smart. And that's what it is. And that's branding. That's really what it is. And it works for the others because you experience it and you do it, all day long, and you get bombarded with it all the time, but it works. And so that's why you really need to apply it to your business, because you need it to work for you too. So.
I have another question. Somebody was asking, your for sale signs, do you use that blue color? Are you using generic colors? Like, I guess people are more interested in your marketing pieces.
Yes, I do have one. I didn't put them up there. Oh,
That's fine.
I do. I can share them with you. Yes, I do have my blue color actually in there. So it is a blue bar. It says for sale. One of the things I've added in there, so people know, I have a barcode on there that people can put their phone over it, and it takes you right to the listing page. So that's one thing that happens. So if people walk out, they don't necessarily have to even call. It has little instructions to say, hey, you know what? Obviously my phone number's on there nice and large, but at the same time, you can actually say, I have even a picture of a phone, so people know that, hey, take your phone, scan this code, and as soon as you put your phone over the code, it's a QR code, basically. You probably have seen them in other businesses, and
All the restaurants.
all the restaurants have it. Right, same thing. So you do it, you go over it, and then boom, it pops up, and it's your listing. So people can find out all the information out of it. But yes, I do use it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got another question on here about like newer platforms. I'm gonna assume they're talking about TikTok.
Yes.
Because they're asking about like the importance of, do you think it's important to go with new platforms? Are you just staying with specific platforms? Or do you make sure you're everywhere, I guess expanding across platforms?
Yes. You have to go where the customers are. But at the same time, recognize that some of the new platforms, when they come out, there's no real monetizing nature to them, or for them to really find you. But at the same time, it's a way to reinforce the brand. And all of those different platforms have some sort of profile page where then people can find out about you, and they always include some way of having a link. So as long as there's a link involved in it, so they can get back to your site or really contact you, I'd say, yeah, go for it. And TikTok, I do use TikTok. It's new to me too, but it's fun because it's quick. And what's nice is, sometimes it's difficult to be able to add music to videos, where TikTok makes it super easy. That's the thing. You can pick the different songs. You can get your TikToks actually seen more by the song you pick. So you can see what people are doing and what are the trending songs, and just by that alone, the system helps push it out that way. But again, just whatever you do, just make it relevant to what you do. The one that I just posted yesterday, I'm pretty happy with. It's got I don't know what I said, like 300 views or something like that maybe now. I was on the pier at Cape Coral, perfect water, really blue sky, and it was really clear. So I had a little video of just the water lapping the shore, and then I put it to Bobby Darin's Beyond the Sea. And so it took off great. I got 28 likes now since yesterday. Again, it's just, the more you get that, the more it pushes you out. And my handle on TikTok is escape to SWFL. So try to be consistent as far as that goes too. So it makes it easier. So whether you're on Instagram, it's escape to SWFL. On Facebook, it's escape to SWFL. So those types of things. Try to keep something that's consistent all across the board.
Awesome.
Very good.
I hope that was informative for everybody.
Everyone's super impressed.
Oh.
Keeping up with the,
Do we have any questions?
keeping up with the feed. Yeah, I think we've gone through.
About Jared?
Do you guys in class? If anybody? Yeah.
For those in class, there'll be a test at the end of this. but-
Yeah. Right.
Do you have a way that you're judging if your branding is working? I guess that's gonna be one of the questions, because
Yeah.
you came up with this, and talk about your thought process,
Um,
about how you came up with it, and then how do you know if it's working?
Well, basically it was the escape. How I came across this the first time is that there's a Facebook page, and there's a Facebook page called Escape from Illinois. And it's everybody who's ranting about how terrible it is in Illinois between the taxes, the government, and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I just want to escape. And then that's where it got to my thinking. It's like, yeah, everybody wants to escape. And that's really what coming down here is. I mean, not necessarily permanent, it's just for vacation or whatever, but everybody's looking to escape. So that's what I did. And so obviously you can't have all the different escapes because they're taken. So I use the number 2, which really helps. So I have escape to Southwest Florida. I also have escape to Fort Myers. I have escape to Cape Coral. I have escape to Bonita Springs. So I did purchase those as well, and they're all forwarding. But are they getting traffic? I don't know. Probably not. But at least I have that kind of securing the brand. So the escape to is kind of the brand part of that.
Now, you were smart because you already have your degree in this.
Yes. Yeah. I've been working in brand marketing for 25 years.
Right, so what would you say that they should do? Either talk to someone who actually is an expert. Is it worth investing dollars in getting a professional brand? Like a professional photograph?
Yes, definitely. Photograph, definitely. This one actually I took myself because my photographer bailed on me that day. I was so upset. You can tell. And people look at that picture and sometimes they're saying, I don't know. I'm like, you don't look like that. I'm like, yeah, because I'm really pissed in this picture. I said, that's it. I'm doing it myself. But I'm not happy with it. Either say. So yes, invest in a professional picture. It'll really do a lot because sometimes you just need the right lighting to make you look good and things like that. As far as investing in professional to help you, to say you can't do some graphic work, yes, I would say so, but you don't have to invest a lot actually. You know, if you kind of have
Like those fibers kind of thing?
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's going to like fiber. I mean, you find something that you know you want. So first determine what you want first, and when you know what you want, then you can have a graphic designer do it really cheap. So we go to Fiverr. You could get a graphic designer to work with you and create some graphics. So if you wanted to do a T-shirt design, there's so many that people will do that for you, really inexpensive. But try to do it and then think consistently how that will work going forward. So, but yes, I would suggest do it, but you don't have to invest a lot of it. Don't think that you have to invest thousands of dollars to do it. You really don't. It's just more of like what is you and what you can use and how you can create that as your brand. To answer the question as far as if I think what's working, in social media, repetition is what really helps. You have to do it often and more consistently. The videos that I have for my YouTube channel, they vary. I started with my first video, I got like 26 views. The second one I put a week later, I got 63. The next one I got 100. And then in between, I did one video, which I still don't understand why, but it's got over 500 views. I don't understand why, but one thing I've noticed is that actually, how you title things sometimes helps. I've noticed I use the word super in the title, and that actually got more likes. So I did that on the next one, and it kind of helped it. So I don't know if it's sometimes in search or their algorithms, which no one tells you what those are. Proper tagging actually helps too when you're uploading videos, because that's how people can find it. But that's basically, it's a lot of trial and error, really, and just finding out what works. But just because something doesn't work, don't think that it's a failure. It's like you put it out there and it's additional content. So like even my video that only has like 60 views, it was just, on the polo grounds of the Villages. But if people see you and they see another video they like, they're going to see what else do you have. And so then they go to your channel and then they might like it later. So you never know when a video might pop up and actually be, viral for you.
That's interesting because you're talking about consistency, doing things to brand yourself. Like there aren't a lot of realtors who are doing all those consistent YouTube things on the Villages. So you're getting known as the guy who does the videos
Exactly.
at the Villages.
Right.
So it's secondary branding.
Exactly. Yeah, and looking to start my channel for the Villages, I did notice there are other realtors that are on there that have thousands of followers actually in the villages. There's people that are just talking about the villages. They've got like 15,000 followers and they got like 1,000 views on a video after a week. And I'm like, okay, I want to be a part of that. So if everybody's looking for that, I'm going to put my videos out there, and then they're starting to gain attention in that way as well, because just being out there, you can then be a recommended video after someone watches one of their videos. So they might be the top channel, but when you're watching YouTube, there's always, oh, what's next? And so the algorithms in YouTube will say, well, if you like this village's video, you might like this village's video. And that one might be your video that comes up. And that's how those start to pop up, and then people find you, learn about you, and follow you that way. So
Another tough question. From the time that you started your branding here, how long did it really take you before you started getting known as Steve, the Escape to Southwest Florida guy? 3, 6 months?
I'd say 6 months. 6 months. I mean, one thing I'd say that really helped was actually when I started in the villages, it was about a little over 3 months ago, full time kind of going at it, was the car. Actually, the car really helped because I wanted to be known in and around. And so wherever I go, I mean, people are out in the villages, I make sure that car is there. The town squares where everybody is, I like to show up, find a good parking spot, and park there. So I'm using that as my vehicle to kind of advertise myself even when I'm not around.
And it's always in the background of your videos too.
Yes, I try to
it's
keep it
twofold.
Yes, and the other thing with this, it also works, is I use this as my open house sign, because no one is around. If you have the house to yourself, so I park my car in the driveway on an angle with balloons. Like, oh, that's the open house sign. So I also have the open house signs, but this actually helps to identify which house it is, in the whole thing. So that has worked really well for me as well. And then it's just the consistency of doing it over and over. I've used the car actually, because right now I'm also staying with my parents in the villages, that I make sure the car is parked outside towards the street. So it's at the end of the street, not pulled up to the high of the driveway. So when people are driving by, they see it. And everybody walks around, right? So now that they've seen this car for a couple months, I did my intro letter to everybody in the neighborhood saying, hey, you might have seen me around, and here's a picture of my car. Well, I'm Steve. I'm your local realtor. I'm in the villages. I really like the place. My parents moved here a little over a year. They're really happy. I love it too. Let me help you. And, I'll give you 0.5% off if you list with me in this area because I like the area. So those are incentives, things like that, just to kind of get it. And now when I drive around, everybody waves because people know who I am. And I may not have met them, but they wave because like, oh yeah, that's Steve.
That's impressive branding. I mean, to do that in 6 months, because I know some realtors are very concerned if they left a marketplace like you did.
Yeah.
Or they've never been in real estate. They're worried about where they're going to get their leads from. That's the biggest concern of realtors nowadays. And that's how you're accomplishing it.
Yes.
Go out there, invest the time, get some creative. And by the way, your car is totally a write-off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Total write-off, which is great. So that's what you guys need to do.
With some of our new agents or agents that are starting out, their main concern is some of them are like, when we sit down and we try to create a brand, they don't know what to say about themselves. They have an issue finding identity. It seems like your identity is a good mix of who you are as a person and the topic at hand, but your main identity is like people who are coming from out of the area and escaping to Southwest Florida, and you've encompassed that. Do you have advice for people who are struggling, because either they're new or they're shy, is what you find a lot. They're like, well, I don't even know what to say about myself, and they're trying to create a brand. How can they go about discovering what their identity is going to be?
I'd say, just think about the things that you like. What are your hobbies that you have? Other things. I mean, are you an art lover? Do you love to go to art galleries, or are you a crafty type of person? Things like that. I'd say find something like that and kind of attach to it.
Stay away from political and
and
hot political, religious, those kind of things.
Yes, stay away from those things. It's just not worth it, because on occasion you can talk to somebody and then you never realize that this person actually might not be on your side. You don't want that to have any sort of effect on the business relationship at all. So it shouldn't come into play. So absolutely.
And if you can't think of things that you like, maybe have your best friend interview you.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a really good idea for newer people who are a little shy and
Yeah.
can't think about it. Because you really are. I think we're the hardest persons to talk about
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Same thing. I mean, for 25 years doing marketing advertising, marketing for yourself is the same thing, like the blacksmith that doesn't have shoes. It's the same thing. It's very hard to do it for yourself. So that's something to consider. Yeah, have someone interview, say, hey, when you think of me, what do you think of? Or what aspect about me is most memorable to you?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned one good thing too, when you're talking about going in the villages, you did some research on what your competition is.
Yes.
So if you're worried about that, get on Facebook and look,
Mhm.
and we can get in the camera a little bit.
Yeah,
more. Yeah, we'll do a little interviewing
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool. Check him out. I mean, Steve's really, you're kind of like taking over the TikTok thing.
Yeah.
For a brand. That's a really new marketplace and opportunity for realtors, especially the younger people. And I hate to say that because I'm over 60,
Yeah.
so I gotta say that. But if the younger people are already, they're plugged in.
Yes.
So if you can jump in and get in the TikTok and make
Yes.
fun of your real estate, have fun of your life, have fun in Florida, you can do it. Like that's really kind of cool. And you have to have some humor with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're too stiff, nobody wants to work with you. They want to get to know you because they're going to pick you because they like you out of 75,000 realtors. So
Maybe
Yes.
that's my personality.
well,
Yeah, and don't think that you have to stage it so well either. I mean, the truth about that picture, I'm staying in an Airbnb and they have a beautiful lanai, nice things in the background. And like, yeah, this is classic Southwest Florida. That's what you want in the background. You see the local plants, you see the lanai, you see a pool in the background. That's all you have to see, and you know where I am, where I'm working. So that's actually the plan.
well, you mentioned parking your car too.
Yeah.
Now, are you taking now the next step where you're going to start showing up at events?
Yes. Yes, that's it. Like definitely showing up at squares. I like cars too, so I'm gonna show up at the car shows when they have it. So I make sure I pull up. I mean, this is not a show car, but it'll be really clean. So it'll be right there. So that'll help.
Well, so you always have to be on your best behavior. Think about that.
Yes.
Because you never know who's going to hear you or say something.
Yes. Okay. And then the case in point.
Yeah.
About this car. Another purposeful thing why I got this. Okay, it's a Fiat 500, but it is a 2012. You can't tell that it's 8 years old. That's the purpose of that car because that car model has not changed in the last bunch of years. So I know, even though I know I'm not going to spend a lot of money for a new car right now, that right here I'm using a used car because I know the look of that car hasn't changed. So you don't know if that car is a 2019 or if it's a 2012. So, but it depends on the car you pull up with. So the same thing. So purposefully making the right decision so so it doesn't hurt you. That's the same thing.
Well, right,
So-
you're giving messages to people because they
Right.
don't
Everything's a message.
necessarily want to work with someone who's driving around in the Rolls Royce realtor thing saying, I'm the best realtor in town, work with me.
Right.
They want to know that you're their friend and you're in the same kind of boat that they are.
Right, exactly. If I was in Miami, it's one thing, but if you're in the villages, people are on fixed incomes. So it's a different sell up there.
We do have another question. Somebody was asking if you could share what vendors you like to use for printing and materials, et cetera.
Mhm. Sure.
Yeah, listen to them and then we will type it out and put it on the team page so you can take it.
Yes. A great vendor for business cards is overnightprints.com. That is a fantastic one. I've used them for years. Excellent customer service. And if there's ever a problem with it, they fix it for free. So that's a great one. I use it actually for some of my commercial customers as well, not just real estate. So I've used it for many years actually. They're really good. You can use U-printing is another one if you're doing some sort of like brochure or something like that. That works as well. Overnight Prints also does good postcards as well if you need to do some custom postcards with that. For wearables, check out Teespring. It's teespring.com. They give you a free website. So basically, you just log in, you create an account, it's free, and you can start designing. If you have a logo, it could just be the Jones & Co. logo. It doesn't have to be, if you don't have your own, or it could be your name, or it could be a signature or something, and you could just put it on there, and there's all kinds of things you can have. And again, it costs you nothing to put it up there. It's print on demand, so it's just for whatever you order. And if it's your own store, you can order it at a discount. So other people would get retail, but you get some money off. And actually, you could set whatever markup you want on it as well.
Wow.
So that's really nice. Yeah. Let's see. What other ones? For sign graphics, I actually don't know anybody locally. I've got a really good friend in San Antonio who has a sign shop, and actually he gives me a break, so that's why I did it. The graphics of the car, I did it myself. I actually installed it myself too. So, but you could look for like Signs 360 is a good brand. I believe that's a national brand.
Yeah, check with Artistic Signs, who's our,
Yeah,
there's our sign
our
company
sign
locally.
company.
They would be able to connect you if they can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's good to keep your money local if you possibly can.
Yes,
That's always a good thing, shop local.
definitely.
How do you spell artistics?
Artistix signs. They're really cool. Well, I think you've like blown everybody's heads up today. I hope everybody's brains are just like scrambling up here thinking, what can I do? Because it's a brand new year. It's a whole new way of living right now, I think.
Yes.
And if we can promote that, promote Florida, promote yourself, you will just kick your numbers like really all over the place, you know?
And I'm totally available too, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about it. I'd be happy to help you guys out.
And if you don't want to go up and sell in the villages, refer.
Yes.
You know, Jones and Company, we're in Tampa, we're in Miami, we're all the way up now in the villages. If you don't know where that's at, that's up near Orlando, you know, near Disney.
3 hours up 75. That's it.
Yeah.
Stay right.
So thank you very much. And we'd
Thank
love to hear your feedback on,
Yes.
you know, suggestions, ideas, things like that. Watch your educational calendar because we're going to really have super duper things every month, just for a month. So you can take an hour out of each week and just get ready to kick ass. So have a fantastic day.